So, on this episode, we are going to be working with sites and locations. So, on our previous episode, we actually talked about the organization management in modeling your company. During the during that session, we actually covered the organization unit, where we can define an organization unit as a business resident or as a reporting unit. So, on this episode, we are going to look at the impact of creating an organization unit and setting the definition as a business resident. Because when you create an organization unit and you set the definition to be a business resident, then automatically the system is going to create a site stroke location for you. So from the site and location, that is where you can now start defining your logistic model. So let's go straight into the demo and see how this is done and how we can create warehouse and even our bin locations from the existing uh, site that are already created or auto generated from the system. And we can also uh, see how we can edit one of the organization units we previously created and convert it to a business resident to see what happens in the site and location. So for us to be able to achieve that, let's navigate to our work center and go straight to the supply chain master data work center. In the overview of the supply chain master data work center, we have the location, the storage control profile, the resources, resource operating profile, shift programs for shifting, uh, transport zones and transport lane for transportation management, the product group, so you can define product groups, forecast product group, planning product group, production product group, and storage groups. Also, beside is the common tasks that we can perform, like creating a new equipment resource, labor resource, vehicle resource, new resource group, and uh, other information that applies. So we are going to cover the transport zone and transport lanes much more later during the course. So let's start with the location. So if I click on the location, the system is going to spool the report of all active locations. So this is based on the report report scenario where we need to drill report based on uh, the kind of scenario we want the report to pull out. So if I for some of these reports are the status of the report is actually active. So all sites and location that are active is what the system is actually displaying right now. So if you want to see the reports, I mean locations that are in preparation, you can click this and the system is going to display some of these reports. So what we're going to be doing is pulling the reports of all current location in the system. So remember, we have some business resident already created from our org unit, like the headquarter. It's actually a business resident, and so when we set it as a business resident, automatically the system is creating a site and location. So I'll just quickly navigate to the organization structure in the org management to show you what this really means. So if you click on the Amica group, Amica Holding and the Amica Limited, under the definitions, we can see that we have a company, and if you expand to see more in the headquarter London, if we click on it, we can see the definition that the system is setting it as a business resident. And the same thing applies. So when you set an organization unit as a business resident, automatically the system is going to associate a site, it's going to create a site for the business resident. So from this site, we can start defining our warehouse location or storage location based on the specific rule, I mean, the location and their roles. We can equally create a business unit, I mean, an organization unit, and set it as a business resident. Then from there, we can go to the supply chain master data and assign some of the storage, I mean, the location rules to it. So here you can see we have the headquarter London as a site location. So if I click on the edit button, you can see some other information that applies to this location. So here in the edit button, if you notice, there are some rules here that applies to this location. So this location is marked for a shift from location. So you can ship from this location to other location. You can also set this location as a ship to location. So this indicates that when a supplier is supplying to your company, you can set this location as a ship to location. So when they are raising a PO, whenever probably the procurement department is raising a PO document, they can select this location as their ship to location for the supplier to work with. You can also define if this location is logistic relevant, like if it's a logistic a transaction under the logistic are going to be relevant for this location. You can also mark this location as a service point, and you will the whenever there is a service order or there is a service that needs to be procured, the location is going to be picked as the service location. All these are we are going to look at when we are working on how to create a location or how to modify a location during the course of this episode. All right, so I'm going to close this and continue. Okay, so for us to create a location and link it to the headquarter London location, we only need to select new location, and automatically the system is going to link this to the headquarter London. So we can define a unique ID for this location and set the location name. We're not going to be doing this, but I want to show you uh, what we I want to make it a streamline training. So a we already created an organization unit in our past episode, and so we are going to use the location. I mean the organization unit. We set the organization unit as a business resident, and automatically you can see what the system is going to do with the business resident by creating a new location. And from there we can now assign those business rules, and going forward in the training we can use this location as our point of reference for the procurement and even for transport and other from transport layers and other inventory management that we're going to be treating in the training. All right, so I'm going to quickly go to the organization management to do this. So I'm going to the org structure. The name of the organization unit we created is actually called the logistics. So, and it's located in the headquarter London organization unit. Is linked to the headquarter London organization unit. So this is the organization unit. So if we go to the definition, we can see that we only set this organization unit as a business resident, and I mean as a reporting line, and not a business resident, and it's reporting it belongs to the headquarter London. So we are going to be using this to to work on the site and location. Okay, so what we just need to do is to edit the organization structure. So I'm going to, uh, mind you, we've selected the organization unit. So what we just need to do is to click on the edit button. So here we have the organization, the logistic selected. So what we need to do is to change the definition of the organization unit, which we have, to a business resident. So if I click on the business and check the business resident, and I save. So let's check for any errors first before we save. Check for selected structure, yes. So you can see there are no inconsistencies. Then we can save. Okay, so you can see the record is saved. So now I'm just going to click on the close button. All right, so the logistic information is now saved. So I'm going to navigate back to the supply chain design master data. So if I go back to the locations, so you can see that the logistic site is not created yet. So that means it's possible the site is still not active. So if you click on all sites, possibility that it will not show is there. So you can see it's not uh, showing as well. So we need to go back to the organization management and org structures to activate the organization structure for the logistic mode. So I'm just going to click on the edit button. So from the edit button, I'm going to expand the org unit. Then I'm going to expand the headquarter London to see. So you can see that there's an exclamation mark. So there and a message as well. So it's saying this org unit has inactive changes that needs to be activated. So to activate the changes, go to activate and select the org structure unit. All right, so I'm just going to click on activate. Then I'll select the org unit and click activate selected org structure. So if I check now, check selected org structure, it should be active now. Phase 2 not active. So okay, I think it's loading now. So saving data. All right, so let's see now. Okay, so it's active now. So let's go to the definition. What happens to the definition? So we can see now the associated site is now logistics. So I'm going to save, and the associated site means that the site that has been created and linked to this org structure, because we set it as a business resident, is the logistics. So automatically the system is going to create the logistic site and location. All right, so I'm going to close this. I'm saving and close as well. So if we go back to the supply chain design master data, and head to the location, click on the locations. Now we can see we have the logistics site and location. So from here, when we click on the logistic code, and we can see some of the rows that are created. So the ship to location is defined. The ship from location is also selected, but the storage location, logistic relevant service point, and externally managed are not checked. So we can check those by editing, and we can click logistic relevant and set it as a storage location and the service point location. So I'm just going to change the status or save the status of the. Now we can also define the material flow for this location. So you can use this material flow through logistic area. So if you have, let's say for example, the storage location has some bin location that is applied, so you can design a material flow for how you want uh, the movement of goods and goods and logistics to be processed from this location. All right, so I can define the basic rule and set some logistics area. So there are no logistics area. So logistics area in BYD is what we know as the bin location for some of these warehouses. So we're not going deep into those information today. Okay, so I'm just going to select the changes, and I'm just going to close now without making changes on this. So if we go back to the logistic supply chain master data um, locations. We're going to see now we have the logistic um, location. We have the logistic site and location. So if we click on the ID, which is the site ID, we have some of the informations that are set here. Like we can see the rows that are applied. So we have the ship from location, the ship to location, the storage location relevant. So we have the logistic relevant for logistic operation. Okay. We can also edit this location to uncheck or check some of these rules. I mean, assign or unassign some of these rules. So you can assign, you can activate negative stock. You can allow negative stock if you want to transact in negative inventory. You can transact negative in transit stock, like your inbound or outbound delivery. So you can transfer then operating hours because this is a business residence and it's a location, so you can set the operating hours, the start and end time of the operating hours. So I'm just going to then for the material flow, you can set the material flow rule. So this is important for how you control the flow of material from one location to another location during your warehouse and logistic operations. Uh, so usually these rules are based on warehouse levels. Right, we're not going deep into that now. So I'm just going to save and close. All right, so that is that for um, creating a warehouse. So if I refresh this information now, you can see this logistics location is now set as a storage location, a ship to location, and ship from location. All right, so that is that for this training. If you have any question, uh, hit me up on the comment section and let's brainstorm. On the next episode, we're going to be working with the transport zone. So we need to define how the logistic model is going to be that is going to be used for transport operation and so on and so forth. All right, thank you and bye for now.